Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Moments with Dr. Sam. I am your host, Sabrina Mutawali. Thank you guys so much for joining me on today on this last day of the month of January in 2019. Can you guys believe it? We are already through the first month of the year. And so please forgive me for not tuning in on last week. It was actually my birthday and I went out of town for the weekend with my best friend. So I took some time off, but I wanted to make sure that I got back to you guys on this week with the very last question that was submitted to me by a parent in order for me to address the concern that she's having. And so if this is your first time tuning in, what we've been doing in the month of January was addressing some concerns, comments, and questions that parents, specifically parents of African American boys, had about their sons as they matriculate through the education system. And so today's topic is it really is a sensitive issue, especially of the things that is going on within our society. But I do believe that it's a prevalent and a relevant issue. And so this is the question the parents submitted to me. How do we protect them from racism within our own race, especially in the education system? Sad to say, it is not always the opposite race that are racist, but sometimes it exists right within our own race. And so for me to get started with this topic, first off, I want to address the educators who are watching this video. As educators, we must be mindful of our own biases. And being mindful of our own biases is not just about being aware that a student is of a different race or being aware of that a student is of a different culture, but we need to do some self-reflection. We need to really sit down and look at ourselves and look at our practices, look at the way we educate students of the opposite race, look at the way we educate the students of another culture, students even as in another religion, the way we speak to individuals, the way we carry ourselves around those individuals. And we need to be mindful and aware of our own biases. We need to address those biases, whether it is that you participate in various professional developments, whether it is that you go ahead and read and get some understanding as far as what that culture experiences, what that race may experience, what that religion, whatever it may be. Anything that is holding you from being the educator that you desire to be and that you should be to all students. Anything that is holding you from being equal and from being fair to all students. Anything that is holding you back from educating a child, not because of their race or their culture, whatever it may be. Anything that is holding you back from giving that child 100%, that is a bias. And you need to address that personally. Okay? And so to my educators, please educate yourself and please reflect about your mannerism around those students. Reflect on your teaching practices, your instructional strategies. You need to reflect. Reflection is so important. You will never be able to progress as an educator if you never learn how to reflect. And so address your own biases. I know our district is right now, we're going through implicit bias, and we're going through talking and having those crucial talks. Those talks are critical, okay? Another thing, teachers, go ahead and begin to get to know the family and the student. Don't make any assumptions just by what a previous teacher may have said, what is in their cum folder, what may be in the system, what may have been your experience if you had the sibling previously. No, this is a brand new day, brand new child. Please make sure that you get to know the child, get to know the student, get to know the parents, get to know the family, do observations, talk with the family, ask questions, take it upon yourself to go the extra mile. The difference between an ordinary teacher and an extraordinary teacher is that the extraordinary teacher does the extra. They go the extra mile. So please make sure that you get to know that family, you get to understand the child that you are educating, who that child is as a person, not because of their race, not because of their religion, not because of their culture, not because of their beliefs, whatever it may be. Get to know that child, the heart of that child. And so now that I've cleared that up with my educators, now I want to address this parent's concern. And so you're talking about how do we protect them from racism. To be honest, you can't. Okay? You cannot protect them from racism because it's going to happen. You can't control what somebody else does. You can't control what someone else thinks about your child. You can't control how someone else will treat your child. But what you can do is speak to your child and educate your child on how to respond. Okay, making your child aware of racism, making your child aware of the things that are going on within our society, keeping your child abreast to the changes within our society, even down to the laws, whether it not just within the education system, but laws within society and how African American males are being treated within society. However, we should also be mindful that we are not, how do I want to put this? That we are not distorting their view of society and of other cultures. Okay? If you get what I mean. And what I'm trying to say is you do not want your child to be living in fear, nor do you want your child being disrespectful to other cultures, nor do you want them to be disrespectful to law enforcement or anything like that. You want to educate them and make them aware. That's the bottom line. You want to educate them and make them aware. But at the same token, you do not want to put fear in them, nor do you want to have them, turn around and end up becoming racially biased. Okay. And so one of the things that I would suggest to you is to have your son read this book. It is called The New Jim Crow. It actually is one of my favorite books. It talks about mass incarceration in the age of color blindness, and it is by Dr. Michelle Alexandra. I love this book. I absolutely love it. She also did a talk on YouTube that was phenomenal. The book also comes in an audiobook, so you can listen to it. I would suggest that you read the book as a family and you discuss each chapter. You have, activities, or you have open-ended questions, whatever it may be, that you discuss this as a family and that you go through the book as a family and that you talk about these things and how it is relevant and even how it is occurring in our society on today. This is definitely one of the books I will recommend that you read with your son. I will also recommend The Miseducation of the Negro. It's a very short book. I just finished reading it. It is by Carter Woodson, and The Miseducation of the Negro, again, talks about the African American individual and going from the mindset of slavery to a freedom mindset. And it talks about us in business. It talks about African Americans in education and different things like that. So I would definitely suggest those two books to you as starters for you and your son and your entire family to actually read, because as you said, racism is not just something where it's a gender thing. It's literally you can't hide. I can't hide the fact that I'm black. I'm black when I wake up. I'm black when I go to bed. I was black when I'm born, and I'm going to be black when I'm dead. And so it's not something that I'm able to hide, and it's not something that he's able to hide. And even within our own society and within our own culture, and it's sad to say, yes, we as African Americans, we are even racially biased against one another. And it is a sad thing to say, but it's a thing that we need to be aware of, and we need to be intentional in our practices. We need to be intentional in what we say. We need to be intentional in what we do, making sure that we are advocates and we are not hindrances to our community. So I hope this addressed your question. If you have any other questions, please feel free to send me a message, www.drsamayam.com. Again, please share this video with someone else if you know that it's going to bless someone else. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Stay tuned for February, because February is going to be really, really, really good. February, I'm going to begin a series on love, talking about love, and I'm going to do it in such an unconventional way that you're going to love the heck out of it. So I thank you guys again for joining me on today. Have a wonderful Thursday and enjoy the rest of your week.